Welcome on into Sports Memo Today, where we aim to give you some actionable information in 30 minutes or less. And we got a future bet special coming your way on the show here today with two of, in my opinion, the best handicappers when it comes to talking future markets. They've given out free plays right here on Sports Memo Today, and they've given out all kinds of cashing tickets in the future market to their clients at sportsmemo.com. Who am I talking about? We, of course, got Eric Pauly coming up first. He's got an MLB player future and an MLB division look that he'll be dropping for you today. And then shutting it down is my man JM Sports, Jeff Michaels. He's got an MLB and an NBA future for you. And the NBA look, very intrigued to hear the breakdown from Jeff Michaels. That's going to end the show here today and end the week for us on Sports Memo Today. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and let's get right into it. If we're on the clock for 30 minutes or less, let's try and beat it and welcome in my man, Eric Pauly. Find him sm.buzz/EP. Eric, always a pleasure having you on, man. I know you've been capping on at least Twitter some of this World Baseball Classic action that's going on, but baseball, one of your first true loves, man. So I know this part of the year you love. How's it been running? You're muted, my man.
Spring training has not been
That'll
so great
happen.
to start so far. Actually been a little up and down. Honestly, very hard to cap spring training. Of course, now with the World Baseball Classic being added to that, because players have been leaving those teams to go play for their countries, which if you haven't caught any of the World Baseball Classic yet, I know the times are very hard. They're not easy for especially people on the East Coast. You got 6 a.m. starts, 11 p.m. starts, but the games have been really incredible so far. But looking forward to this season and looking forward to some more like continuity, some good lineups, some good starting pitching, some good relief pitching. I'm ready to stop watching these AA guys try to make the names for themselves. Give me the big leaguers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. It's been tough for sure. So hey, man, let's look forward to some of these major leaguers and look forward to these future markets. One of the favorite that you love diving into, and you got to look for one of the pitchers, not just to win the AL, not just to win the ML. You're looking at a pitcher to have the most strikeouts of the year in the entire league. Who are we talking about, man?
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at Cincinnati Reds sophomore pitcher Hunter Green. Now, last season, Hunter Green, as a rookie, only 22 years old, did not have the best stats whatsoever. However, things that really did impress me was his fastball velocity and his ability to improve as the season went on. And I think this kid is ready for a breakout this year. Last year, he was able to complete 24 games started and only pitched 125 innings pitched. So that was not enough to qualify for the leaderboards at the end of the season. But he had 11.75 K through 9 last year as a rookie in the MLB. So given that he has that one full year of service time and now he's looking to improve upon that season, now a year older, a year wiser, I expect him to actually improve upon these kind of very mediocre freshman year numbers and actually have an amazing sophomore season in the MLB. Big news today that Carlos Rodon is going to start the season on the injury list for the Yankees, and he's actually the other person I considered for winning the most strikeouts in the major leagues this season. So now this injury is going to hinder Rodon, which actually does bode better for this Hunter Green bet. I think this kid has too much just stuff in general, and then now again that it's his second time going around in the big leagues, that he's going to be better off this season. I like for 30-1 odds, I like this kid Hunter Green to be mowing down batters this season.
Hunter Green, most strikeouts in Major League Baseball, and I love that 30-1 price right there. So, hey, if we could get people money on Sauce Gardner for free here on the show, why not put a little sprinkle if your bankroll allows, looking towards Hunter Green. All right, so one that maybe isn't as juicy of a plus price, but plus nevertheless, and that's what we love here. We're looking at the AL Central, and you think you have a read on who might get it done there. What's Eric Pauly thinking?
Yeah, so our next guest is going to absolutely love this one because he is a Guardians fan, but I'm taking the Cleveland Guardians to win the AL Central this upcoming season. AL Central is definitely one of the worst divisions in baseball. You have the Tigers and Royals who are just completely in the midst of rebuilds. Both teams do have some very good young players, but that's not going to be enough to propel them this year. And at the moment right now, you can go to the Gold Sheet. We have a bunch of MLB content out, and the first edition of our power rankings for this year has come out. And I slotted the Guardians in at number 8 on the season to start the year. That might be a little bit too high to start. I understand that. I'm just very bullish on this team. You had one of the youngest rosters, if not the youngest in all of baseball last year, made it to the ALDS. So what did the Guardians do? They laid back, did not do much of free agency, are just expecting their young and already established guys like Jose Ramirez, Shane Bieber to just continue to play at the level that they know how to play. Looking at the rest of the division, again, we mentioned the two Tigers and Royals, nothing to be concerned about. I actually have the White Sox as 16 in my power rankings. I am not high on Chicago this year, even though they do have on paper a star-studded lineup, but they have an injury-prone lineup and some guys who I think put up some more, personal stats than team stats that don't really play that well together. So the team I'd be most concerned about is the Minnesota Twins. That addition of Pablo Lopez was really big, of course, re-signing Carlos Correa. So they would be the next biggest threat. But just given the strength of this Guardians team, their pitching staff, and their ability to single and double teams to death, and then tack on the fact again that the rest of their division really isn't that strong, I think there's too much value to pass up and getting plus money on the Guardians to just finish number one in the AL Central this season.
The Guardians to win the AL Central. And yes, I know our man Jeff Michaels probably backstage just fist pumping, saying, man, when my guy Eric Pauly is having a good eye, I love to see that. So, my man, like we said, this baseball action is heating up. A conference tournament's in full swing. March Madness right around the corner. So, are you keeping your head above water, man? Like, how are you focusing on all these sports? And when your clients, head on over, your prospective clients head on over sm.buzz/EP, what kind of stuff are they going to find, brother?
You're going to be finding some spring training bets, some World Baseball Classic bets, and some MLB futures. Again, spring training bets and World Baseball Classic will be put in one package every day, so you can have all those plays at one time. And as always, for me, future bets are always going to be all access. So you can hop on over to sm.buzz/EP and take a look at every single futures bet that I will have for the season. We'll be all up there in one spot, one price.
Nice and easy. One package. That's the way Eric Pauly does it. Make sure you check him out. And also a great follow on Twitter. So make sure you follow him there as well. Big thanks to Eric Pauly. And let's keep it on rolling with the guy that we were just alluding to there. I know he's pumped up that our man EP thinks that the Guardians can get it done in the AL. Jeff Michaels, JM Sports. You can find him sm.buzz/JMS. Before we get into your plays, what do you think about that Guardians look? Agree? Disagree? You're hoping with bated breath, cross the fingers. What do you think about EP's breakdown?
Hey, absolutely. And I think he said it. We stayed quiet in free agency, but two big pickups, Josh Bell and Mike Zunino, and catcher's been our struggle. So addressing a catcher, I think, as a Cleveland fan is what we were looking for. So I think it's a good way to look. And Minnesota gave up the batting average champ and Arias, however, pardon my pronunciation, but gave up a big bat in that trade for Lopez. So I like it. I do, as a fan and as a bettor.
I love to see it. Plus 145 is the price you can get in now. And, with these future plays, you probably want to grab them sooner rather than later. You have one for us, and you kind of went down the board. I don't know if you were bored one night just scrolling through all the options that some of these sports books had, because two just kind of further down the list, I guess I could say, of options that you have for the folks in these future markets. But this one I'm really intrigued by. We talked a little AL Central. You have some thoughts on the AL West potentially being one of the stronger, divisions there in the American League. And you have a future bet to kind of attack it that way. What do we got, Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start off with saying both of these were off of DraftKings, and we talked quickly before the show, but I like two teams in the AL West to make the playoffs this season. It's sitting at minus 120, and the reason that I like this so much is because I am high on the Mariners this year. I like the Seattle team. I think that even though Houston lost Verlander, we still can kind of agree that Houston's leading that division. But I really like what Seattle's done. They sent they sent Adam Frazier, Jesse Winker, and Abraham Toro away in the offseason, but they added multiple bats to increase their offensive lineup. They got Colton Wong, who can play the field, obviously, too, and replace that infield position. And then they bolstered the outfield with A.J. Pollock, Teoscar Hernandez, Cooper Hummel, and they got Tommy La Stella, who can play the infield and play DH. So add that to Julio Rodriguez that we all saw go off last year in his first year. And I think you got a pretty deadly combination there with Seattle. and just betting Seattle to make the playoffs, you're laying more juice than this. I think when I saw it, it was minus 145, which was kind of what got me looking for another way to profit off of that Seattle team. And you have a little bit of a safety net with it too, because I like what Texas has done this offseason. And you see the roster in LA, the Angels haven't done much to prove it, but worst case scenario, if I'm wrong on Seattle, you do have a little bit of a safety net if Texas or if LA can squeeze into the postseason, even if it's through a play-in game. So give me two AL West teams to make the playoffs this year.
Two AL West teams, only minus 120 to do it. And when people head on over to your page, I know that you're loading stuff already, all these future looks too, but on the hardwood's been pretty kind to you. And a lot of bettors tell me that conference tournament week is even more exciting for them from a money-making perspective than March Madness is. Would you and your clients agree with that?
Yeah, it's crazy. I love the time of the year. Not too many times in the East Coast can I be watching a college basketball game before we go live on the air here. So,
True.
it's definitely exciting, and there's definitely a lot of emotion that comes into play too. So it's the start of what is March Madness. It's the entire month of madness. It's not just the tournament. So always fun, always exciting.
Then you can get every play that Jeff Michaels is loading at sm.buzz/JMS. We got some great deals loaded on his page as well, so definitely check that out. All right, this one I'm intrigued by because I'm wondering who gives you the thought that we may be seeing a new NBA champion. Interesting prop bet, a nice plus price because you have a breakdown for a first-time NBA champion. How are we betting this one, man?
Yeah, this was one that, like you kind of mentioned, I was kind of scrolling through and seeing where you can find the plus money on DraftKings and on some of those bigger books. And this one really caught my eye when you see the teams listed out next to it. You think first time NBA champ, all right, that's different. That's something you might not see. But you look at the list, I broke it down kind of into four tiers. Bottom one, the Hornets, not much of a hope in this race. Then you have the Pacers, the Magic, and the Jazz have yet to win a championship. They're on the outside looking in, but they have a shot. You got the Nets, the Timberwolves, and the Pelicans, who are all in play-in or play-off situations. But then you got the top four, the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, and the Suns. So you're taking basically all four of those teams, even if you're not alluding to the rest of them, and you're getting a plus 145 price to win the championship. There's 7 of the 20 teams in the postseason are included in this bet. You have 3 of the top 4 seeds in the West and 6 of the top 10 or 6 of the 10 teams that are in the postseason in the West right now in general. And you got a Suns team that sure, that KD injury may hurt them, but they were already a contender before that Kevin Durant trade. So it hurts their odds, but it doesn't take them out of contention. The Clippers obviously have a hope. They have 3 star-studded players on their roster that can make a difference. And if Ja Morant comes back to what he was, we could be arguing that the Grizzlies could be right there too. So, this is kind of one where I'm looking at the top couple teams in this, but you do have a little bit of a safety net if those couple, those come from behind teams. And especially if you like a team coming out of the West, you're getting plus 145 money here to basically take 7 out of the 10 teams or 6 out of the 10 teams in the West. So I like this. You're getting plus money. You're getting a couple fallback options, and you got the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Grizzlies, and the Suns to focus on moving forward in the postseason. So give me that at plus 145, no question.
Yeah, and one thing too, I guess, follow along on at least from some people who are maybe holding some of those Suns future tickets is, man, Kevin Durant. The curse continues for him. He'll go somewhere, and I don't know if it's him switching teams all the time or what it is, but man, a lot of fans not happy with the way that the court was cleaned, at least going on there. So that's pretty brutal, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. That one hurts, especially sending away a couple of pieces that have done some good things over in Brooklyn. Seeing what Dinwiddie, seeing what Finney Smith's doing over there. It's not exactly easy saying goodbye and getting an injured player in return.
Yeah, I think the Suns, they need to trade for Ben Simmons. I think that's probably the best course of action. Make sure you bring Ben Simmons to town. Jeff, we already let people know to check out your page, but always love when you're coming on. Make sure you check him out at sportsmemo.com. Take advantage of some of those great deals that are up there. Big thanks to my guys joining me here for the Futures edition. All future plays. Hop in below in the comments and let us know. You agree, you disagree? What are some future plays in Major League Baseball, NBA action that maybe you're looking to place or have placed already? Do you have one of those Suns tickets? If so, I'm a little sorry for you. Hopefully, hey, who knows? Maybe he'll be back and he'll be better than ever. Who knows? But huge thanks to Eric Pauly. Huge thanks to Jeff Michaels, our producer behind the scenes. Eric doing a terrific job. I'm Dan Alexander, and we will be back locked and loaded on Tuesday right here on Sports Memo Today.